First, we will think of horizontal motion. So, generally, in the horizontal motion, first we need to understand. So, the average velocity and as well as instantaneous velocity. So, like the terms we need to understand. So, first I am taking average velocity. Average velocity. So, average velocity means generally we will take as V bar. V bar equivalent to. So, it is called as, it is the ratio between total displacement covered by total time taken. Total displacement covered by total time. So this is one way of approaching the average velocity. Average velocity equal to total displacement covered by total time taken. For example, in the given segment, let us say, so the body travel s1 distance in a time t1 and s2 distance in a time t2. So we will take the average velocity as, let us take s1 plus s2 by t1 plus t2. T1 plus t2. So here, in measuring the average velocity, so we have two ways, or we have two models. So one is half distance method and the other is half time method. So one is half distance method and the other is half time method. So we will think of half distance method. So first one I am taking half distance method. Half distance method. So half distance method means generally the body traveled half of the distance with speed v1 and the remaining half with speed v2. For example, I am taking that the half of the distance it covered with a speed v1 and the remaining half it covered with a speed v2. So then in that case, we will write average velocity v bar equivalent to, so total distance covered is s by 2 plus s by 2. By time means distance by speed. So therefore s by 2 by v1 we will take plus s by 2 by v by 2. V2. So that equivalent to s plus s we are taking as common, s by 2 into 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2. So s and s gets cancelled. So then we will get average speed equivalent to, or average velocity 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2. Suppose if we are observing a long straight line, so this is very important. Suppose if we are observing a long straight line, that is horizontal motion, a long straight line. So here velocity is nothing but the speed. So therefore average velocity is nothing but average speed. Average speed we will take. So similarly, if the distance is made into n equal parts, let us say, for example, we are having s by n, s by n, and s by n. The distance is made equivalent to n equal parts. The first part it was moving with the speed v1, second part is v2, and third part is v3, and so on. So in that case, we will take average velocity equivalent to s by n plus s by n plus up to so on by. So v1 means s by n by v1, s by n by v1 plus s by n by v2 plus up to so on. So finally we get a logic like this: n by v equivalent to 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2 plus 1 by v2, 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2 plus 1 by v2. So this is one of the important logic for average velocity for the half distance method. So we will use this logic for half distance method. We will use this logic for half distance method. So for example, I am taking n equivalent to 3, let us say. So that means we have 3 segments. So then we will take first one third, it covers with speed v1, second one third, it covers with v2, and the third one third, it covers with v3. So then we will simply write 3 by v is equivalent to 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2 plus 1 by v3. So in this way, we will easily remember, or the average velocity v equivalent to 3v1 v2 v3 by v1 v2 plus v2 v3 plus v3 v1. So in this way, we will write. Or sometimes we have an applications like this. For example, a body covers 2/5 of distance, let us say 2s by 5 with speed v1, and the remaining distance 3s by 5 with speed v2. That means 2/5 of distance with v1 and 3/5 of the distance, 3/5 of the distance with speed v2, with speed v2. So then they will ask for average velocity. Then average velocity we will take. So average velocity v equivalent to total distance means generally we take 2 by 5 into s plus 3 by 5 into s by total distance by total time. Time means distance by speed again. So therefore 2s by 5v1 plus 3s by 5v2. So that equivalent to s by s I am taking as common. I will get 2v2 plus 3v1, 2v2 plus 3v1 by 5v1 v2. So ss gets cancelled here. So therefore average velocity equivalent to 5v1 v2, 5v1 v2 by 2v2 plus 3v1. In this way, we will do the average velocity for half distance method. And suppose if we think of half time method, if we think of half time method, so then for that case, for example, I am taking half time. So that means for t by n time it is moving with v1, and t by n times it is moving with v2, and so on. So in this way, we are taking n segment. So then average velocity v bar equivalent to distance covered. So v1 into t by n plus v2 into t by n plus v3 into t by n plus up to so on. By distance covered by time. Time taken is t by n plus t by n plus up to so on. So by using this, we will get average velocity equivalent to v1 plus v2 plus, or you may take v1 bar plus v2 bar plus up to so on by n. Normal average. So generally we will get it as normal average. So this is important logic. So from there we can easily understand the situation. For example, first t by 2, it covers with a speed v1, and second t by 2 it covers with v2. So like this, the question is given. So simply we will write average velocity equivalent to v1 plus v2, or v1 bar plus v2 bar by n means 2 we will say. Similarly, if we have 3 segments, so that is t by 3 and t by 3 and t by 3. So then first one is with v1, second one is with v2, and third one is with v3. Average speed if we are taking, so just we will write v1 plus v2 plus v3 by 3. So in this way, we will find out average velocities. So this is the difference between average speed and as well as average velocity. So next, we need to understand equation of motion. Equation of motion. Equation of motion. So under when the body is moving with uniform acceleration, under uniform acceleration. So we need to understand that when the uniform acceleration means generally the value of A is constant. The value of A is constant. So we have V equivalent to U plus AT. For example, if the body starts its journey with a speed U, after time t, it gains a speed V. Then V equivalent to U plus AT. Second one, we are taking S equivalent to ut plus half at square. So here we know that u is the initial velocity. U is the initial velocity and v be the final velocity. V be the final velocity and small t is observation time. And A is the acceleration. A is the acceleration. Or we have another approach Vt minus half at square. Just we are substituting u equal to v minus ut in this equation. That means we are substituting equation 1 in equation 2. So we will get another form of distance, that is Vt minus half at square. But the third one is very, very important, S equivalent to u plus v by 2 into. So out of all the possibilities and out of all the equations of motion, this is very, very important. Initial velocity u and final velocity is v and t is time. This is very, very important. Next, when we think of the third one, so that equivalent to v square minus u square equivalent to 2as. So for example, if a body starts with a speed u and finally gains with a speed v and covers the distance s and the acceleration is a. So then the relation between all of these is v square minus u square equivalent to 2as we are taking. So and after that one, fourth one, Sn equivalent to u plus a into n minus half. So we know that Sn is nothing but the distance covered. The distance covered in nth second. The distance covered in nth second. U is the initial velocity and A is the acceleration. But here the important thing is, so sometimes we will treat the Sn as the distance covered. The distance covered in last second. Suppose in the question, if it is asked like the ratio between the distance covered in last second to total distance. So in that example, we will take the distance covered in last second as Sn by taking the total journey time. The total journey time as n second. By treating the total journey time as n second, and we will consider the distance covered in last second is Sn. So for a example we are taking, suppose if a body starts from rest, and moving under uniform acceleration, starts from rest and moving under uniform acceleration, then the distance covered in last second, the distance covered in last second to total distance covered. Total distance covered when the body, when the body is in journey, when the body is in journey for n seconds. When the body is in journey for n seconds. So that means first we need to understand clearly what is the S and as well what is the S. For example, I am taking this is the total distance. So the distance counted from here to here is S. So in the journey we have this is the first second and this is the second second. In this way we have n second. We have n second. In that case, we will take this as S1, S1, and similarly, we will take this as S2, and similarly, the distance covered in last second is nth second. So this is last second of its journey. Last second of its journey. So we will apply the equations of motion F equivalent to ut plus half at square as the body starts from rest 0 into n plus half into n square and Sn equivalent to u plus a into n minus half. Sn equivalent to u plus a into n minus half. So by dividing this, we will get Sn by S equivalent to 2n minus 1 by n square. 2n minus 1 by n square. So this is one of the important applications in the distance covered in nth second to the total distance. So this is also very important. So this is also very important. So after this, so we are taking next one. Suppose if the body covers, if the body covers Sn distance in nth second. The body covers Sn distance in nth second and Sn distance in nth second. Sn distance in nth second and Sn distance in nth second. Then acceleration equivalent to Sn minus Sm by n minus. Suppose n is greater than m we are taking. N is greater than m we are taking. So actually we will derive this equation from the rule Sn equivalent to u plus a into n minus. For n seconds we will apply and for m seconds also we will apply. Just we will subtract the two equations. So automatically we are going to have the expression for acceleration. And next in the horizontal motion, it is very important that when the body starts from rest, when the body starts from rest, the ratio between distances covered in successive seconds are equal intervals of time, are in equal intervals of time. So we are taking that the body starts from rest, u equivalent to 0. Distance covered in successive seconds. So that means that is he is speaking about the Sn distance covered. So then automatically the distance covered in nth second is Sn in the nth second. So we have the formula Sn equivalent to u plus into a into n minus 1. Or we will write 0 plus by taking 2 as LCM, a by 2 into 2n minus 1. And finally, we will take Sn is proportional to 2n minus 1, where n carries values from 1 to 3 up to so on infinity. So finally, the ratio of distance covered in first and 2 seconds is S1 is to S2 is to S3 is to up to so on equal to. Just we will substitute n equivalent 1 here. 2 into 1 minus 1 means 1. And later we will substitute n equal to 2. 2 into 2 minus 1 means here I am taking 4 minus 1. That is 3. 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to up to so on. So this is one important relation out here. And also we need to understand that the same logic is also applicable for equal intervals of time. Because here we are focusing for a duration of a second. For example, this is the 0 second, this is the first second, this is the second, and this is the third. So that means you are observing a duration for 1 second. So you are observing the duration for 1 second. So means this is the ratio between the during successive collision, successive seconds is equal to, it is also equal to the ratio between the distance covered in equal intervals of time. Or we may understand the problem like this. Suppose if in a given time t, the body covers a distance x. So automatically in the next t seconds, it covers 3x distance. In the next t seconds, it covers 5x distance. It covers 5x distance and so on. So this will be the story. After that, we will think of the ratio of distance, that is total distance, the ratio of distances covered, the ratio of total distances covered. The ratio of total distances covered means, for example, if the body starts from here, u equivalent to 0. So the distance covered in first second to the distance covered right from t equivalent to 0 to second. So let us say this will be S2. And if we are taking the total distance covered, total distance means we need to use S. So that is S3. Total distances means always we will use S. S is equivalent to ut plus half at square. So u equivalent to 0. So therefore S is proportional to h square. So therefore simply we will write S1 is to S2 is to S3 equivalent to 1 square is to 2 square is to 3 square. So that equivalent to 1 is to 4 is to 9. 1 is to 4 is to 9. So in this way we will understand the ratio between the successive distance covered. Here also we have some models regarding the relative velocity also. For example, we will take this is the body A and this is the body B. They are moving with speeds u1 and u2 in the same direction. So the relative velocity is nothing but, so we may assume the velocity of A with respect to B or B with respect to A. So relative velocity means, suppose I am taking A as the object and B is the observer. So generally the relative velocity can be understood as velocity of object minus velocity of observer. Velocity of object minus velocity of observer. So that means clearly your observing. Who is observing? B is observing. B is observing. Whom it is observing? The object is A. So VA bar minus VB bar will write. If we take the vectorial representation, we will get U1 into I cap minus U2 into I cap. So that equivalent to U1 minus U2. If you need only the magnitude, so then we will write U1 minus. So this relative velocity is also important for the understanding of horizontal motion. So this we will use when the two bodies are under consideration and if the two bodies are moving simultaneously. So in that case, we will use the relative velocity. Suppose we are taking the body A moving with the speed u1 and the body B moving with the speed. So in that case, suppose if it is moving in opposite direction, like this it is. So relative velocity or VA bar minus VB bar we are taking. So that equivalent to VA bar minus VB bar. So VA bar equivalent to U1 into I cap minus of minus U2 into I cap. So that equivalent to U1 plus U2 into I cap. So this will be the relative velocity. Here the discussion is, we will also consider the relative velocity in understanding some train, railway platform examples, or when the bike rider chases the car, or when the thief was chased by policemen, like in those models. So generally we will take the relative velocity. So by taking the relative velocities, we need to understand that we can also apply the equation of motion for the relative velocity. For example, if I am taking if u1 and u2 are constant velocities or constant speeds. So constant speed means automatically a1 equivalent to 0 and as well as a2 equivalent to 0. Then the relative acceleration is also equal to 0. So in that case, we will consider the relative separation between the bodies. For example, so the first one is moving with the speed u1 and the second one is moving with the speed u2. So what will be the relative separation between the two bodies after some time t? Suppose if it is asked like this, so we will apply the equation of motion S equivalent to ut plus half at square. So this we are going to see here. So that means AR equivalent to 0. So therefore we will write SR equivalent to UR into T. In that way also we will apply. So relative separation equivalent to U1 minus U2 into T. For example, this is moving with U1 and also this is moving in the opposite direction with the speed U2. Their separation is SR, let us say. So therefore, we will take the relative separation equal to relative velocity into time. So that equivalent to U1 plus U2 into T. In that way, we will understand the situation. And for example, we have a discussion like this. If we have a train that crosses a platform, So here the train length is L1, let us say, and the platform length is L2. Suppose if it is moving with a speed, so then the question is time taken to cross the platform. T equivalent to distance by speed. So distance means we need to understand that in order to cross, whether the train is moving in the forward direction or backward direction, every part of the train, that means every inch of the train has to cross the platform. So that means every inch of the train has to be covered the entire platform distance. So that's why we will write T equivalent to relative separation by relative velocity. Relative separation is nothing but we need to add L1 plus L2. We need to add L1 plus L2 always. Whether he is crossing the platform from left to right or right to left. So then there will be no difference. L1 plus L2 by relative velocity means train velocity is V and the platform velocity is 0. So therefore, we will take T equivalent to L1 plus L2 by V. In this way also, we will understand the time taken. You will understand the time taken. Okay. So after discussing the horizontal motion, so first we will think of motion under gravity. Motion under gravity. So in the motion under gravity, generally we have two topics. One is freely falling body and the second one is vertically projected body. So freely falling body means freely falling body. So we need to understand what do you mean by freely falling body. Generally, we will take a body and it is freely falling from a height h, let us say, and the freely falling body is falling. So whenever we have the freely falling means initial velocity equivalent to 0. So we will understood the same thing from the term when the body is released. So in this way, we have a question like this: when the body is released from rest. So when the body is released from rest means we need to understand it as freely falling body. We need to understand it as freely falling body. So generally you have this discussion released from rest, initial velocity equivalent to 0. So therefore after t time we are focusing. After t time maybe it gains a velocity v and it covers a distance y we will take. It covers a distance y we will take. So then we will apply the equations of motion one after the other. V equivalent to u plus at and v equivalent to initial velocity equivalent to 0 and acceleration equivalent to g into t. V equivalent to g. Suppose if you are interested to draw a graph between the time and as well as velocity. So from this equation, it is clear that um, the y component is parallel to the y component is directly proportional to x component. So because this chosen as y parameter and this chosen as x parameter, y is proportional to x graph we are going to get. So automatically this is a straight line passing through origin. For example, this is the distance covered is y. The distance covered in time t. Generally, S equivalent to we will write ut plus half at square. But in the y direction you are applying. Yes, yes means the distance covered is let us say h, or the distance covered is let us say uh, we are taking as y. We choose initial velocity equivalent to 0, 0 plus half into acceleration means. So in the case of freely falling body, we have a convention that if the body is moving in the direction of earth gravity, that is downwards, its acceleration is taken as plus g. So we will use this notation for scalar representation. So half gt square we will use. So therefore finally we have the distance covered y equivalent to half gt square. Half gt square. So these are the very famous formulas regarding the freely falling body. So velocity after some time t and as well as distance covered in a some time. So that means clearly we will understood this v. V means instantaneous velocity. instantaneous velocity, and that will be the instantaneous distance. So the total distance covered is, and we will take the third one, the time of descent. So the time of descent means so time taken by the body to reach the ground. So that will be the time of descent. For example, if you are taking a body here of mass m, initial velocity equivalent to 0. For example, it reaches the ground h in a time t. So S equivalent to ut plus half at square we will apply. S equivalent to ut plus half at square. S is nothing but h initial velocity equal to 0 plus half into g into t square. So therefore we have the t equivalent to root of 2h by g. We have t equivalent to root of 2h by g. But here the important thing is the acceleration due to gravity. While we are expressing in scalar form, just we will understand as g. So we know that g equivalent to 9.8 meter per second square. In the question, if the value of g is not mentioned here, so we will take g equivalent to 9.8. We will take the g as 9.8. And now if you are interested to represent the vector form, so in 2D, two-dimensionally you are observing. If you are observing two-dimensional motion, so then we will write a bar equivalent to g into. So we will take the downward as negative y-axis. Negative y-axis. So in that case, we will use g into minus j cap. So that means if you are narrating the story, if you are narrating the story in the plane of the paper, if you are narrating the story, so then we will use a bar equivalent to g into minus j cap. Suppose in some topics there is a need to narrate the story in 3D. If it is moving three-dimensionally, so generally we will take that a bar equivalent to g into minus 2. A bar equivalent to g into minus k. So because means, for example, if this is the earth, in the earth direction, on the earth we are taking, so this will be the north and this will be the south, and this will be east and west. This will be east and west. Suppose if you are taking the direction of along the east, if you take I cap and the body is moving along y-axis north, so we will take j cap. So both are laid on the surface. Both are laid on the surfaces. So but we are representing the acceleration due to gravity three-dimensionally. So that means the body is falling like this, vertically downwards. Body is falling vertically downwards. So that means you are moving in the negative z-axis direction. So that's why we will take a bar equivalent to g into minus k cap. So clearly saying means generally while you are taking motion in a straight line, it is better to take a bar equivalent to g into minus k cap. Suppose if you are taking motion in a plane, it is better to take a bar equivalent to g into minus k cap. So this will be the time of ascent, time of descent, and as well as the distance covered. So next, the fourth one is velocity with which the body hits the ground. The velocity with which the body hits the ground. So that means actually we are taking that. So this is initial velocity equivalent to 0. So after covering a distance v and a equivalent to plus g we are taking as the body is moving downwards towards the gravity. So generally we have v square minus u square equal to 2as. So v square means v square minus initial velocity equal to 0, and we will take 2 meters. Or we have v equivalent to root of 2gh. So in this way, we will understand the situations of a freely falling body. And here also we will consider that the ratio of distances covered. The ratio of distances covered in first second to second to third second up to so on. First second and third up to so on. So in this case, actually the body is freely falling. Initial velocity equal to 0. So we are focusing on first second, second and third second. Means Sn we are thinking. Sn equivalent to u plus a into n minus half. As the initial velocity is equivalent to 0, Sn equivalent to a by 2 into 2n minus 1. So a by 2 into 2n minus 1. So here a means generally we will take as the gravity. So therefore g by 2 into 2n minus 1. So in the first second it covers a distance g by 2. And if you take n equal to 2, in the second it covers 3g by 2. And in the third second it takes 5g by 2. So that means when we think of a freely falling body, so this is the distance covered in first second, and this is the distance covered in second. If this is g by 2, then this will be 3g by 2. So that means previous distance plus g plus g. So that means during second to second. So therefore, the distance covered increases. The distance covered increases by g units. The distance covered increases by g units. G units during successive seconds. During successive seconds. Or this ratio is famous as 1:3:5:7. Okay. And also we have one more discussion here. The ratio of times to cover equal distances. To cover equal distances. So this is very important. The ratio of times to cover equal distances. For example, I am taking s is equivalent to half at square, and t equivalent to root over 2s by 8. For example, I am taking freely falling body. It covers first s distance. First s distance is with a speed t, and the next s distance, it covers with a speed root 2 minus 1 into t. Root 2 minus 1 into. Now we will understand this in this way. For example, this will be the S1 and this will be the S2. So second half means let us say we are creating it as delta t. Let us say delta t equivalent to root over 2s by a 2s2 by a minus root over 2s1 by a. In this way we will do. So root over 2 into s2 means generally we write 2s by a minus automatically this is root of 2s by a. So generally we have root 2 minus 1 into root of 2s by a. So that will be the coefficient, just we will write it as t. So that's why we have times ratio as 1 is to root 2 minus 1 is to root 3 minus root 2 is to, and so on we are having. The ratio of times to cover equal distances. The ratio of times to cover equal distances, we will take as 1 is to root 2 minus 1 is to root 3 minus root 2. So in this way, we have the discussion. And similarly, the velocity is covered. The velocity is covered. The velocity is covered also increases. The velocity is covered also increases by g units. The velocity covered also increases by g units during successive seconds. During successive seconds. So that means u equivalent to 0. So after taking first second, it gains a velocity v equal to gt, t equal to 1, t equivalent to. And after t equivalent to 2 seconds, let us take this is t equivalent to 2, t equivalent to 2g, velocity equivalent to 2g, or v1, or we will take this as v2. So it can be easily understood that v1 plus c, v1 plus c. So that means during successive intervals of time, the velocity rises by g units. So this way, we need to understand about the case of freely falling body. So after freely falling body, so we will project some more basics over vertically projected body. Projected body. So when we think of vertically projected up body, for example, here before starting the vertically projected up body, so we need to understand something, some points. So let us take this is a point A, and let us for a while we will think this is a point B, and this is point C, and this is a point D. So generally the point A is treated as point of projection. Point of projection. And we will consider B point as point or the position, point or position after some time t. అంటే ఎప్పుడు సమ్ టైం t తర్వాత అని మనకు మెన్షన్ చేసిన మనము బీనే చూస్ చేసుకుంటాం. బీనే చూస్ చేసుకుంటాం. డిస్కషన్స్ లో ఆఫ్టర్ సమ్ టైం అంటే బి we will imagine. And t is nothing but this is the maximum height. T is nothing but this is the maximum height. And D will be point of striking. D will be point of striking. So generally this is the, suppose you are projecting with initial speed u. Initial speed. So let us discuss. So what happens after some time? So what will be the story? And here it is important that, so actually the body is moving against the gravity. Suppose if we take this is the earth, so definitely the gravity will be downwards. So when the gravity is downwards, but the body is moving upwards. So therefore its acceleration is taken as minus g. So it is very important to us that when we will take minus g and when we will take vector form, that is very, very important. Suppose if you are trying to do the problem in scalar form, just we will take a equivalent to minus g. Suppose if you are trying to do the problem in vectorially, that is two dimensionally we are speaking. So then we will write A bar equivalent to minus G into, because it's is its magnitude, as it is moving upwards, so therefore we will take J cap. Suppose if we are taking the vector in 3D, so then A bar equivalent to, we will take minus G into A cap, because you are moving away from the earth. Just now we have taken, this is the earth, and on the earth we are taking north to south directions and east west directions. So suppose if the east direction is considered as I cap on the earth, and the north direction is considered as J cap. So in that session, if the body is projected up, so that is considered as minus E into J cap. And here the most important point is relative acceleration. Relative acceleration between the freely falling body, and vertically projected body. Freely falling body and vertically projected body we are taking. For example, if we are taking the freely falling body, generally we will take A1 bar, or let us take A1 bar equivalent to, so it is downward moving, minus G into J cap. And whenever the body is projected upwards, just now we have taken A2 bar equivalent to, also equivalent to minus J into J. So the relative acceleration means A1 bar minus A2 bar. So the relative acceleration equivalent to 0. So this is very, very important. Now we will understand the velocity of vertically projected a body by step by step. So initially you are taking the body is projected upwards with a speed u. So then we are taking after some time t, and this will be located in the diagram by b. For example, you are projecting the body in the upward direction. So this will be the u, and you are speaking at a point b after some time t. So let us take it gains a velocity v, or it have a velocity v, and the body covers a distance. Let us say y. Let us say y. So generally we will apply the equations of motion v equivalent to u plus at, or we will take v equivalent to u minus gt. V equivalent to u minus gt. So this will be the velocity of the body. This will be the velocity of the body. Suppose if you are interested to plot a graph here, so we need to understand this is the t and this will be the v. So therefore, so just I'm writing y equivalent to minus mx plus c. Y equivalent to minus mx plus c. So slope is negative and y-intercept is positive. So therefore, this will be the graph. After some time t, we will understand v equivalent to u minus. And if we take the distance covered, so generally s equivalent to, we will write ut plus half it square. Ut plus half, a means minus g. A means minus g we are taking. So ut minus half it square. S equivalent to ut minus half it square. So this is S equivalent to ut minus half it square. So here the most important point is, in the entire motion, of vertically projected body, whether you are at A or at B or at C or at D, any position you take, always you need to take the A equivalent to minus. అంటే ఇందాక మనం చూసినట్టు మనం ఎక్కడ అప్లై చేస్తున్నాం అనేది ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాదు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ here we are seeing కొంతమంది పొరపాటు పడతారు. ఈ సెకండ్ హాఫ్ ఫ్రమ్ సి టు డి తీసుకునేటప్పుడు ఇది ఫ్రీలీ ఫాలింగ్ బాడీలా అనిపిస్తుంది కాబట్టి ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ప్లస్ జీ తీసుకుంటారు. అది పొరపాటు. వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఎట్ ఏ, వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఎట్ బి, ఆర్ వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఎట్ సి, ఆర్ వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఎట్ డి. So clearly speaking, for the entire motion of the projectile, so automatically we will take, for the entire motion we will take A equivalent to minus. So this is very, very important to understand. So this is the distance covered after some time. So after this, we will discuss about maximum height. So next I am taking about maximum height. So we have been taking maximum height as point C. Maximum height as point C. For example, maximum height means whenever the body is projected upwards. Suppose if the body is projected with a speed u, you need to be understood that at maximum height, so the vertical component of velocity, whatever may be the direction. So speaking broadly, we will take the vertical component of velocity. So that means if the velocity is along y direction, should be equivalent to 0. So that means here the velocity, as the body is projected vertically upwards, so automatically we will say v equivalent to 0. So here v equivalent to 0. Maximum height అనగానే మనకు గుర్తుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటి అంటే maximum height equivalent to 0. Suppose the body takes, let us say ta time of ascent, ta time to reach the maximum height. So then just I will write v is the body after some time, therefore I will write u minus g into ta equal to 0 and ta equivalent to u by g. So by speaking motion in a plane in view of mind, just we will modify this formula as uy by g. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఫార్ములాని మనం uy by g అని చదువుకుంటే మనకు మోషన్ ఇన్ ఏ ప్లేన్ కూడా చక్కగా పనికొస్తుంది. So time of ascent in the case of oblique projected also, so we will use the same logic, uy by g అని మనం గుర్తుంచుకోవచ్చు. సో అందుకే ఎప్పుడు కూడా y axis లో చదువుకోవడమే బెటర్. Time of ascent equivalent to uy by g. So that is so as the body is projected along y axis only, so therefore that is u by g. So this is at maximum height, and we need to understood that at maximum height the body has only potential energy, and at the point of projection the body has only kinetic energy. For example, simply we will understood that total energy at a is very famous point of projection. We will take this as half mu square. So in the case of maximum height at the point C, just we will think of mgh. These are the total energies generally we will see. So at this point actually, this is the maximum height. So after discussing the maximum height, generally we think of point of striking. So that is time of flight. So time of flight. Time of flight means time taken by the body. To remain in air. Time taken by the body to remain in air. For example, if we are taking a projectile like this, if it is moving with a speed u, and the total time taken is t. Let us say, where t is the time of flight. So we can easily understood that. So when the body reaches the same level, so we will take the displacement covered equal to 0. So therefore we are taking ut plus half a means minus g into t square equivalent to 0. So from there we will get ut equivalent to half gt square, or t equivalent to u by g. So this is time of flight. So when we avoid the air resistance, we will take time of ascent and time of ascent and time of descent both are equal when the air resistance is neglected. So we will take P equivalent to 2u by g. We will take the 2u by g. So next, at the point of striking, we need the velocity direction. At the point of striking, we are understood. So because it is after some time, just I am writing v equivalent to u plus u. So initial velocity is u. The body is projected upwards, a equivalent to minus g. Time means at the point of striking d, the total time taken is t. So therefore, u minus g into time of flight means 2u by g. So v equivalent to minus u, your speed. So as this is minus u, so definitely the direction will be opposite. So that's why at the point of striking, the velocity direction is downwards. The velocity direction is downwards. So we are taking. So this is about time of flight. And if you are interested in the maximum height, if you are interested in maximum height, so maximum height means so this is the distance covered before reaching the maximum height, point C, or before reaching its velocity equivalent to 0, before reaching its velocity equivalent to 0. So let us take the maximum height is h. So simply we will apply v square minus u square equivalent to 2as. So 0 minus u square equivalent to 2 into, as the body is moving upwards, we are taking a equivalent to minus g, and this is h, and h equivalent to u square by 2g. H equivalent to u square by 2g. But for by keeping the motion plane in point of view, always we will remember the maximum height as uy square by 2g. Maximum height h equivalent to uy square by 2g. So simply we will use one formula for every topic. H equivalent to uy square by 2g we will take. And already just now we discussed that the time of flight equal to 2u by g, or we are calling it as 2uy by g. Our uy is nothing but it is gt by 2. And by substituting here, we will get h equivalent to gt square by 8. This is very, very important. So this is very, very important. So the maximum height h equivalent to gt square by 8. So this is about the story of the vertical projected body. But here we need to understand the most important logics uh, which are very helpful in problem solving. So slowly we will discuss one after the other. So the most important point is, so when it crosses the point C, so the body changes its direction. When the body changes its direction, so definitely the body has to be at rest for a moment. And ఇక్కడ బాడీ తన డైరెక్షన్ చేంజ్ చేసుకోవాలి అంటే ఒక సెకండ్, ఒక ఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సెకండ్ అది రెస్ట్ లో ఉండాలి. So that means when we think of only the right hand part, so that is only descent. For us, it appears to us that this part, for us, this appears to us that the right hand part, it is freely falling body. Only we think of the right part. Only ఒక రైట్ పార్ట్ ని ఆలోచిస్తే మనకి ఎలా అనిపిస్తుంది అంటే అది ఫ్రీలీ ఫాలింగ్ బాడీ లాగా అనిపిస్తుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్. సో అసెంట్ నార్మలే, బట్ డిసెంట్ అనేది ఎప్పుడు మనం ఏం గుర్తుంచుకోవాలి అంటే దిస్ ఈస్ ఫ్రీలీ ఫాలింగ్ బాడీ. So this is the first important point. Second important point is always the ascent is the mirror image of descent. Ascent is the mirror image of descent. అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏంటో ఒకసారి మనం చూద్దాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ యూ థింక్ దట్ సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ ఎ స్పీడ్ u, జస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ స్పీకింగ్ ఓన్లీ అబౌట్ స్పీడ్, నాట్ డైరెక్షన్. వెలాసిటీ గురించి నేను మాట్లాడట్లా. ఈ పాయింట్ దగ్గర సేమ్ u ఉంటే సేమ్ లెవెల్ దగ్గర డిసెంట్ లో u స్పీడ్ ఉంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, యు ఆర్ అబ్జర్వింగ్ ఎట్ ఎ పొజిషన్ లెట్ us say x హైట్ లో మనం ఆలోచిస్తున్నాం అనుకోండి. At this point, let us say if the body having a speed v in the upward direction at the same level from the ground, at the same level from the ground, it has the same speed. అంటే సేమ్ లెవెల్లో ఎదర్ అసెంట్ ఆర్ డిసెంట్ మనకు సేమ్ స్పీడ్ ఉండడం జరిగింది. సేమ్ స్పీడ్ ఉండడం జరిగింది. దాన్ని మనం మిర్రర్ ఇమేజ్ అంటున్నాం. లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఎంత ఉంటున్న వాల్యూ రైట్ సైడ్ కూడా అంతే ఉంటుంది అండి. So at the maximum height also, before reaching the maximum height, the velocity equivalent to 0. After reaching the maximum height, again the velocity equivalent to 0. అంటే ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏం అర్థం కావాలి అంటే, if the question is asked in descent, if the question is asked in descent, we may think of ascent and vice versa. If the question is asked in ascent, we may think of descent. So in that way, we will understand. And the third one is, for example, as we are speaking as the mirror image, suppose to cover a distance x. In the upward journey, if it takes t time, in the downward journey also, it takes t time. So this is very, very important. అంటే x డిస్టెన్స్ ని అసెంట్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేయడానికి ఎంత టైం పడుతుందో డిసెంట్ లో ట్రావెల్ చేయడానికి కూడా మనకు అంతే టైం పడుతుంది. సో ఇది మనం యూజ్ చేసేటువంటి థర్డ్ లాజిక్. And the fourth one is, for example, if in given t time, if the body takes a distance x in the upward direction, in the same interval of time, the body covers same distance x in the downward direction. అంటే మిర్రర్ ఇమేజ్ లాగా అన్నమాట. లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఎక్స్ డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్ చేయడానికి టీ టైం పడితే సేమ్ లెవెల్లో రైట్ సైడ్ కూడా మనకు టీ అనేటువంటిది మనకు పడుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ది ఫిఫ్త్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ లాజిక్ ఈస్, so the RHS, so that is the descent is treated as freely falling body. So freely falling body అంటే మనకు ఐడియా ఉంది. The ratio of distances covered in successive seconds, x is to 3x is to 5x is to 7x. ఇలా మనం తీసుకుంటూ ఉంటాం. అంటే ఇక్కడ క్లియర్ గా ఆలోచిస్తే, సపోజ్ ది డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్డ్ ఇన్ ఫస్ట్ సెకండ్ ఆఫ్ డౌన్వర్డ్ జర్నీ, దిస్ ఇస్ ది డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్డ్ ఇన్ సెకండ్ ఆఫ్ డౌన్వర్డ్ జర్నీ, దిస్ ఇస్ ది డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్డ్ ఇన్ థర్డ్ సెకండ్ ఆఫ్ డౌన్వర్డ్ జర్నీ, దిస్ ఇస్ ది డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్డ్ ఇన్ ది ఫోర్త్ సెకండ్ ఆఫ్ డౌన్వర్డ్ జర్నీ. ఇలా మనం ఆలోచించవచ్చు, బికాస్ ఫ్రీలీ ఫాలింగ్ బాడీ అనుకున్నాం కాబట్టి. For example, I'm taking a simple problem. If a body is projected with a velocity 60 meters per second, then find the ratio of distances covered in first second to 7th second and first second to 11th second. సో ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ మనకి ఇచ్చారు అనుకోండి, ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేయాలి అంటే, we need to find out the time of ascent. Time of ascent equivalent to u by g, that equal to 60 by g equivalent to 10, let us say, we will get 6 seconds. So first the body reaches the highest position by 6 seconds. For example, this, so reaches highest in 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in this way we need to understand. So this is the distance, this is the first second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, this is 10, this is 11, and this is the 12 second. This is the story. Just without applying any formulas, easily we can do the problems. So ఇలా ఇస్తే మనం ఎప్పుడు రైట్ సైడ్ చూసుకోవాలి. We know that these are the distances covered in successive seconds. ఇది x అనుకుంటే ఇది 3x, ఇది 5x, 7x, 9x, and as well as 11x we will say. This is the distance covered in first second. This is the distance covered in second, third second, and fourth second, and fifth second. నేను మీకు ఇందాక ఏం చెప్పానంటే always the descent is the mirror image of ascent. So that means in the first second also the body covers 11x distance, because at the same level you are speaking. In the second also it covers the same distance 7x. In the third second also it covers the same distance 7x. In the fourth second also it covers the same distance 5x. And in the eighth second also it's same distance 3x. And in the sixth second also it covers the same distance x. ఇలా మనం చూసుకోవచ్చు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎస్ ఫస్ట్ టు ఎస్ సెవెంత్ అన్నారు అనుకోండి. ఎస్ సెవెంత్ in the first second it covers a distance 11x, and in the seventh second it covers a distance x. So simply we will understood 11:1. And for example s first second to s 11th second అన్నారు అనుకోండి. ఫస్ట్ సెకండ్ లో 11x ట్రావెల్ చేస్తే 11th సెకండ్ లో, సో 11th సెకండ్ లో ఇది వచ్చేసి 9x ట్రావెల్ చేస్తుంది. సో ఇన్ దిస్ వే 11:9. 11:9. So in this way we will do the problems. అంటే సింపుల్ గా చెప్పాలి అంటే అసెంట్ లో క్వశ్చన్ అడిగితే డిసెంట్ గురించి అడగాలి, ఆలోచించాలి. డిసెంట్ లో క్వశ్చన్ అడిగితే అసెంట్ గురించి ఆలోచించాలి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆస్క్డ్ దట్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిస్టెన్స్ కవర్డ్ బై ఏ బాడీ when it is projected upwards with a speed u in the last second of upward motion. In the last second of upward motion. So this is the question. U is also not given. Man says it. So if the question is asked during the last second of upward motion, just we will think of the mirror image. Left side question adigaru kabatti we will think of the right side. So that means we will think of the first second of downfall. We know that in the first second of downfall, the body covers a distance g by 2. The body covers a distance g by 2 because it is the distance covered by the freely falling body in first second. So therefore, the answer is the last second of the distance covered by last second of upward motion is g by 2. So in this way, we need to understand.